Welcome to this week's episode of Success in Women. I'm Linda,
I'm Andrea.
and Andrea's got her tip for the week, and then we're going to get right into a fun, short, end of the year video for you.
Hi, everyone. Well, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. And my tip today is if you did receive any flowers or you're getting any flowers for the new year, the best way to preserve them is put a little bit of baking soda and an ice cube in the vase. Fill it up like, halfway with water and hopefully they'll help keep the flowers longer than normal.
Wow, that's a great tip. I think
Yeah,
we should have, that would have been a good tip before Christmas as well. Oh, well,
exactly. Well,
but
if you still have some and they're not doing too bad, dump the water, the old water, and renew it. And hopefully it'll
that's,
revive them for a couple more days.
that's a good idea. And actually, like you've got a birthday coming up. People might be, giving you flowers for your birthday.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Because you're always looking for those little bags of powder that they give you when you buy but they're only good for a couple of days. And then when you
Change the
refill the
water.
vase, change the water, you don't have it. So when I came across this tip, I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to try that. Good idea.
It is because a lot of people do have baking soda in their house, but those packages, unfortunately, they don't.
No.
So anyway, so I hope you had a nice Christmas. I know it was a lot of fun with my family and lots of food, and it's good now for the end of the year because it's one of those things that I guess we're going to start feeling like we've got New Year's resolutions and goals to talk about. But
Yeah.
anyway, did you have a nice Christmas?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Always, always. I love
Yeah,
Christmas. My favorite time of year.
yeah, mine too, actually. If I had to pick any holiday, it would be the Christmas holidays. So
Hmm.
it's a lot of fun. It's more fun when you have little kids around, which we don't have any little ones. I know you've got a grandson, and I
Hmm.
do have nieces and nephew, but with, I'll say, children of their own. But unfortunately, we don't, because families are too big now. We don't get to spend
Yeah,
that time together, but it is a
exactly.
lot of fun. And
Hmm.
people seem to be a lot nicer, so that's also the good thing of why I
Exactly.
like the holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
But getting to the end of the year like we are, and New Year's right around the corner, of course, people are going to be thinking about their New Year's resolutions. And I know I've been thinking about what I want to accomplish, but I don't look at New Year's and resolutions the same way I used to, because there is
Exactly.
a difference.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of times, we'd have these, I'll say, goals of different things. And a lot of times it could be to lose 10 pounds or to, get to the gym every day or 5 days or even join a gym. These resolutions that for a lot of us were not things that were, I'll say, life changes that we did. It was the fad at the time.
Right. And right at this moment, I think it would be a good time to share this with everyone. So in last May, I had set a goal to lose so much weight. And I joined Weight Watchers. As most of you know, I talk about it all year. And I set my goal at a certain weight. And this week, I reached my goal.
Wow,
Oh,
congratulations.
so
But
happy.
But see, that wasn't a New Year's resolution. That was the
No,
goal.
that was a goal. And that, like you said, started me thinking that instead of saying the word resolution in the new year, think of it just as goals. And maybe in your mind, that's more attainable than like resolutions, almost like, you're resolved to change. And then sometimes you get little bumps along the way, which I did. I got a lot of bumps up and down, up and down, up and down. I thought, oh, is this ever going to happen? But you keep looking for the goal. You keep reaching for the goal and the why. And instead of like, I don't know, resolution just doesn't seem as doable as goal.
And did you have, because we talked about this last year, did you have your goals written down? That goal to lose or to be at a certain weight by,
Yeah.
a certain
Well,
time?
it was in my Weight Watcher app.
Oh, good.
And yes, and so when I think about the Weight Watcher app, it's almost like a journal. So it's like a journal because every day you write down, you track your meals, you track your sleep, you track your water. So every day you're writing down what you're eating, what you're drinking, how you're sleeping. And then once a week, I went to the workshops and weighed in. And that tells you whether you've gone up or down, and then you can look back on your week and see, okay, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? So it's such a great app for people who are serious, and you have to be serious and committed to this journey. And so it was always there, and every day I'd have to look at it, because I'd be tracking everything, and then I would see where my how my journey, they have a chart, and how the weight you started every day, when you win or lose, and little blue dots if you were in the right range for your diet, for your sleep. It's an incredible app, and it's like your goal setting.
But see, this is the difference between a goal and a wish. And the fact is, written goals, and so having that journal, even if it's electronic journal,
Mm-hmm.
is the fact is when you're doing that consciously and you're looking at it every day, because like you said, you have to track, your mind keeps helping you to
Yes.
work towards that goal because
Yes.
it's constantly in there. And the reminder is there because you're seeing it every day, every day, every
Yes.
day.
Yeah, it
And
keeps
it's
your mindset in the right place.
absolutely. And again, like you said, if you're committed, you got to be passionate about the goal. Don't have a goal because somebody else says that's what you should be doing. It's
Oh,
got to be
definitely.
something that resonates with you.
Absolutely. And we were talking about that in the meeting, about, because she asked me, how I managed to keep on going. And she was always inspired by, because I never missed a
This is
week
your group.
if I
This
wasn't
is your
here.
group leader.
The coach, right?
Yeah.
And I just said I always went back to the why, and the why was for me, not for anybody else, not for to make an impression here, or whatever. It was for me. I wanted to feel comfortable in my jeans, and I wanted to feel good, and and that makes a big difference when you're doing it for yourself.
So you've mentioned, Andrea, two very important, I'll say, points that ladies you should know and understand. And we're going to talk more about this as we go on. But Andrea's made 2 points. One is you have to have the why. The
Right.
why is so important. Why do you want something? And it's the same thing, people will, want to have, I'll say, a big house, or they want a certain kind of car, or they, certain clothes or certain designers or a certain weight. But why?
Why?
If you can't answer that question for yourself, you might not have enough reason to get to the end, which is what Andrea did because she had a big enough why she wanted to accomplish it.
Right.
But the second point that you made, Andrea, that is really important for ladies for you to understand, coaching works. If you've
Yes.
got somebody and you're basically not just reporting to yourself, but you've got to be accountable to your coach. You also have to explain why you failed this week, why
Right.
you didn't meet your goal, because whatever the big goal is, there's a lot of little goals to get to that.
That's
And
right.
having the why and having the coach helps you to get better chances to accomplish the goal that you set.
Exactly. That's so true. Like, I did Weight Watchers once before, but only online. No coaching, no workshops. But this time when I joined the full-on program, and that was, the online and the coaching. And what a difference that makes. Just being in a group, of people, like-minded people that are on the same journey, exchanging, victories and failures and recipes and what works, what doesn't work, and having the coach there to give new ideas. Like Weight Watchers is always looking at the science of it and explaining different things, and you learn so much along the way.
And you also mentioned now another point, that support from your peers of like-minded people. You
Right.
want to be around like-minded people. And
Exactly.
being able to share the victories with them, it encourages each
Oh,
other to keep
it
on
was
going.
it was fantastic. Everybody cheered and clapped, and yeah, it makes you feel really good and proud.
Wow. And
Yeah.
the other thing that you mentioned, all of these little victories are important to actually congratulate yourself. It's one thing to have
Right.
other people, but you have to congratulate yourself, Andrea. That was a really big goal that you set, that
Right.
you accomplished for you,
For me. Yeah.
not for anybody else. You
No.
can't
Yeah.
do goals for somebody else.
See, and now the important thing is, now that I've reached that goal, I have to reset the goal, because I don't want to say, oh, well, now I've got it, I can just go on my merry way. I don't want that to happen. And so now my goal for the new year is first and foremost to maintain that weight. And if I can maintain that weight for a certain period of time on the Weight Watcher program, you become a lifetime member and your membership is free. So
Well,
there's an incentive, and there's my new goal. I want to get to that point where I am maintaining my weight, but also getting rid of the monthly payment.
yeah, yep, but
So,
that's a double bonus goal,
right.
because it's a win-win.
So you
You
always
can,
have to think ahead and set new goals. Like, don't just reach a goal and then it's like, okay, now what? Think of another new goal to set right away.
so what's interesting about that, Andrea, this is true in business and in sales. A lot of time we either get goals that are set for us, like targets, I'll say sales targets, or we make them ourselves depending on the situation. But say you're a business owner and you're making these targets and you get these goals and you've accomplished them, and it's only September, but you've got 3 more months in the year. You don't say, oh, well, I've accomplished my goal, I can slack off for the rest of the year. What you said was the most important thing is you have to set new goals, but also keep in mind that maybe, and I'm talking not so much for weight, I'm talking more for sales goals, is that maybe your goal was set too low. If you accomplished
Right.
it too soon, because you want to have the big goal, because that makes you stress. It doesn't make you get lazy, because what you want to be able to do is, if you've reached a goal at the end of the year, that's fantastic. But if you haven't, but you've still made it up to such a high position of you would never have done had you not set these goals,
Right.
you at least were more successful than most people out there.
Right. Yes. And
But
then that leads you, further down your path. And then for the next year, you know what you're capable of.
And that's the thing, though, don't limit yourself. Now,
That's
I had
right.
set a really huge goal, and it's a goal that's going to take a number of years. But I look at this and I think about it, and I have my little card all the time and I'm reading it constantly. But everything that I do in my life and in my journey is always trying to take me towards accomplishing that particular goal. And the why for me is so that the more that I accomplish, the more that I can help more people. And
Right.
my whole goal is always about how I can help. I'm going to say not just the women that we do on this channel, but other organizations. And, we talked about this a few years ago about I would like more of I'll say, once we are a profitable company, which we're not, and I can say that now, ladies, we're still, growing. We're in our infancy. But when we actually start making money, that it's going to go towards women and children's issues, because the
Yeah,
whole thing is
definitely.
that the goal for me is not to get more for me, it's
No,
more to get for other people,
to help others,
to
right, and
help
be
others.
served, right. And
I
that's
I rem-
another thing when we talk about goal setting and resolutions for the new year. It doesn't have to be big, like say a weight loss, or because maybe that's just too much for you to think about right now. It's too overwhelming. It could be something that you work towards setting, in the middle of the year, just like I did. I didn't start off in January thinking that it just happened in May, because that's where
yeah.
I felt I was ready.
You
So
also knew your why at that point.
I knew my why at that point. So, I mean, you could just start off by, like Linda said, volunteering, be of service. Like, just say to yourself, okay, this year I'm going to look to different organizations where I can volunteer. Or it could be a little thing like, I'm going to read one book a month, just to get yourself thinking about bettering yourself and feeling better about yourself. And then that'll lead to bigger and better goals. It doesn't have to be something so huge as weight loss, or, a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to quit smoking, I'm going to quit drinking. And those probably are not realistic, really and truly. In the moment you say yes, but, and we wish it could happen, but, try to set realistic um, goals or resolutions, just doing something different.
Well, the ones that you're ready. And I remember, Andrea, when we were talking, you were saying, even for example, if you're kind of like a Debbie Downer person, that maybe you make it a goal to say, okay, I'm going to smile at 7 people this week. That
Yes.
might be one a day, but you
Yeah.
go out of your way to make sure that you put a smile on your face, and
Right.
you can give yourself credit for accomplishing that goal.
Right. Yes. And you know what? You will be surprised at how good you feel doing that.
Exactly.
They say that. They say the more when you're out there, I'm always looking at people in the stores, whatever, that I smile and they smile back. And it's almost like a connection with the world, with the human race, and I feel that. And so other people, like, and I know that my husband always says, do you have to talk to everybody? I go, yeah, it's just what I like to do. And it makes me feel good, and hopefully it makes them. I mean, last week I was at the doctor's, and when I walked into the building, there was a woman sitting, an elderly woman sitting in a wheelchair at the front door. So in between the two doors, it's still a little chilly. I went up, waited for my appointment, had my appointment, came back down. She was still sitting there. And I go, are you still sitting here? She goes, yeah, I finished my appointment, so I have to wait for my ride. And I said, oh, and we started talking. Oh my gosh, she lit up. She was so happy. And, I said, well, you have a great day. So, oh, thank you, and so I felt good about that hopefully, for 10 minutes, she forgot about whatever was ailing her, and whatever. And I think that's so easy for people to do, just
And
to say hi, hello, how are
but you
you?
probably made her day, because she probably doesn't have a lot of people. Like, I know of,
Mm,
just in my business that I do on the side, I know there's people that will go days they don't talk to anybody. They just
I
don't
know.
have anybody to talk to. And can you imagine how much this would brighten her day, having
Right,
a little conversation with somebody just
right,
because?
right. That I noticed her, that I,
Yep.
um, she didn't feel invisible, like you always say.
Yes. And I just thought of that when
Yes.
you said it. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I just thought about it too, that she probably thought, wow, somebody actually saw me,
Yep.
so that
Because
that was
people would
good.
go in and out, and just
Oh,
basically ignore her because she's a stranger. They don't
yeah,
seem to
well, when
care.
I first walked in too, I just looked at her, smiled, and kept walking.
Yeah.
But when I came back and she was still there, it kind of, I felt bad for her, so I had to stop and talk, and so I hopefully it really did do that. So that's something you can do. Just think of little acts of kindness that you can do. Start thinking about doing that more often. And maybe declutter your home. That's a big one, people put
Well, I
that
do have, yes, but I have a friend that's been telling me for probably 10 years. Yep, she's going to start next year. That's one of the resolutions, Andrea, that I have to tell you for a lot of people never get done. But you
Yeah.
know what? It could be just taking the junk drawer, dumping it out, and
Yes.
organizing that. That is still an accomplishment.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And there's some women online actually that have Instagram page or whatever just about decluttering, and they take you through day by day or week by week what to do, and so it's doable if you really want to do it.
Right. But
That's
again, you got to
the whole
have the
thing.
why.
You have to have the why, and you have to be committed,
Yeah.
and it's got to make you feel good.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
true. And I know that sometimes people will think about goals and they think about their goals because they want it for somebody else. But you cannot make goals
No.
and accomplish those for somebody else. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but you shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Anytime you set a goal, the goal has to mean something to you.
Right.
That person that you would like to see have happen, maybe you just want to talk to them about why they may want to have some goals, but what's important to you is not necessarily what's important to somebody else.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. That's for sure.
Yeah, because I know people have a goal. You want your kids to grow up and be healthy and happy and whatever, but they're going to determine that as they grow up. All you can
Yes,
do is,
unfortunately.
yeah, yeah.
They don't
Because
always
if we could
do it.
plan it all out, that would be different, but we can't.
Oh, I always laugh at new parents and that are, expecting children, and oh, my child is not going to do this, and my child's never going to have sugar, and my child is this. And boy, oh boy, are they in for a rude awakening. And it's all the time, all the time.
I have to tell you this. It's a funny story because talking about that, when one of my brothers had their kids many, many, many years ago, because these are adults now, and I remember the same thing when you talk about no sugar. We grew up in a house, we had cereal, we had sugar cereals, we had sugar on our cereal, whatever. It's just the way we grew up.
Right.
But for some reason, when he got married, he had deprived his kids of sugar. He said, absolutely not. They're not going to have sugar. They're not going to have sugared cereals, whatever. So, of course, one day they're at my mom's visiting and they're little. And one morning, one of his kids was literally with the sugar bowl and the spoon eating sugar right out of the sugar bowl because kids will do what they want to do in that sense. You do the best you can, but you cannot deprive. Anything you deprive of somebody, they want it. It means they want it
even more.
Yeah. Because it's like, why? There must be something good about this.
Yeah.
I can't have it. And
right.
This kid was eating it right out of the sugar bowl. And I'm like, yeah, so much for not having any sugar in your house because they're going to get it one place or another. So
exactly.
You teach them the best you can about why they should have limitations.
You limit and moderation,
Yes.
It's all about that.
But I've never forgotten that because it's exactly what you said. And his goal was to raise these, really healthy kids, all the right stuff and do all the right things and everything else. And the kids are going to do what they want. And one of them, that one in particular, I don't see really anymore. She's getting married soon. But I would like to know really how she's, I'll say, coping with life.
Yeah.
In the sense of, if she's totally sugar-free or if she's moderate. But,
See, the one thing that they don't realize, when you have children, you still have your life around you. It's not like you're sitting at home all day long with that child, monitoring everything in their mouth, making all their food, growing your plants. You forget that life still goes on around you. So
that's right.
Have every moment to spend with that child to monitor them, So, and when they go to school and they see all the other children with, okay, now it's a little bit different. You're not allowed to have anything with peanuts, and they monitor the lunches and whatever. but they still see it, or they go to a friend's house and they're
Yep.
having chips and whatever, and you're like, whoa, wait a second here, or Coke or whatever. The thing is, they always say, like you say, the more you stop them from enjoying something, the more they'll want it. So you always let let them see it, explain it to them. You could say, listen, you can have a Coke, or you could have a water. Coke is, the other day, it's so funny. My grandson said to me, I peeled a clementine, and I said, "Do you want to try it?" Because he's really fussy right now. And he goes, "Is it healthy for you?" I went, I
Oh
went,
my God.
"What?" I go, "Yes, it's very healthy for you, Arlo. He's 5 years old, so, but they're conscious of these things, right? So, oh, it was funny.
But it's just keeping in mind your goals have to be for you, and you
Yeah,
do everything in for other people to influence them in a good, positive way, but you can't control other
no,
people, not in their lives and not in their goals. And
that's
so
right.
we want you to think about that. But what Andrea and I are going to do in the new year, we're actually going to be talking specifically about how you can set goals for yourself, how you can come to that why, the questions that you need to ask yourself on
Right,
why this goal is important to you. It can't be important because it's important to somebody else. And
right.
so we're going to get into the specifics. So come prepared to take some notes. You're going to really want to take the notes if you're serious about getting ahead in 2024. And this year, as we close off 2023, give yourself a pat in the back for all the things you did
Yes,
accomplish. Go through the list of things that you were trying to get done and give yourself credit for those things that you got done.
right.
If
Because
something,
every little victory should be celebrated, and
yes,
like in Weight Watchers, they have a thing called non-scale victories, because everybody, when they see the scale and it's down a pound, yeah, we celebrate. But it's not always the case. But say you did gain a pound, but you did something else. You like slept better, or you got to drink more water, or you prepped some food. Maybe you had one bad day, but the other days were good, and you did something to improve your chances of reaching your goal. So those are the non-scale victories. So in life and everything, you have other victories, like maybe, you, like you say, you got one drawer cleaned. That's a victory. You did it, and it might
yes,
encourage you to do another one.
yep, that's
Celebrate
true.
those. Celebrate the year 2023 and close it off and move on.
So, given that this is our last episode of the year, we just wanted to thank you, ladies, for your time with us the whole year. Andrea and I want to thank ourselves and give ourselves a pat on the back
Yes,
because we made it through the year as well, not missing an episode.
that's right.
And we are celebrating. Andrea's going on a cruise with her husband and daughter for New Year's. I will be on a cruise, but on a different ship. But celebrating the victories that we did do in
Yes,
2023.
yes,
And however you were spending your 2023, I'll say Eve, going into 2024, we hope that you have a fantastic time and be prepared in 2024 for that start of a fantastic year. And maybe in the new year, we'll get to actually talk about some of your accomplishments because we want to hear from you and we would like you to email us. And we will give you all that information coming into the new year. We've had no choice on not making comments on our YouTube, but you can always leave comments on Facebook and reach out to us on direct messaging as well. So we want to hear about from you. So, Andrea, any last parting words for the year?
No, I'm just so grateful that we were able to do this. And I have heard back, especially on Facebook, a lot of my friends that watch the show, and I'm so grateful for them. And they're always so positive about it. and they find it very useful. So that makes me feel good and encourages me to go forward in 2024. So I just
Good.
want to say Happy New Year. Thank you for being with us in
Yeah.
2023 and hope to hear from you and see from you in 2024.
See you soon. Next year.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye, ladies.